Angela Carter Chase is a lady who's been taking a lot of chances. Question is, can she handle the results? See for yourself in this sexy excerpt from Enid Scott's romantic novel Over My Head. Excerpt. Laying Peach Satchel onto a table of design notebooks, Angela followed him into a medium-sized room. Orange dress flowed around her body as those peach shoes lightly tapped against the floor tiles. Cabinets lined the walls of this area with 2 reclining chairs in its center. Metal stool on rollers was slightly pushed by his foot towards a 4-tier steel cart. Nick didn't tell me much over the phone. Brown eyes looked at this lovely female as Iris wanted some simple information. First of all, I need to know how large a space I will be working with. Standing next to one of those chairs, Angela held index and thumb close together. It would be about half an inch, I'd say. Fingertips slightly tapped steel cart as Iris Mendoza asked this client for another bit of exposure. So, where do you want it? Nicholas Bell left the placement of this object up to Angela Chase. When hearing this artist ask about location, Angie coyly smiled. Right here. Without missing a beat of back out of her end of this agreement of arousal, she placed one leg into a stirrup and the right into another, a few inches high from Beaver Dam. Angie lay back in that reclining chair with orange dress pulled towards her stomach. That right thigh shimmered under the bright overhead lights. With eyes affixed to such a naughty location, Iris grinned back at this beauty. And you just tell me what you want me to stick there. She licked her lips gently while revealing the item that Nick desired Angela to have. A sweet little lemon head. He's a lucky man, Mendoza spoke, too, with a hint of envy in his voice, as he scoped the dimensions of the creamy canvas before him. Iris had a casual relationship with Lawrence Chase during several brief brushes at the 8-Ball over the years. Never would he have guessed a wallflower like Larry could capture a firefly like Angela. But Iris Mendoza guessed wrong. Who, baby? Iris Mendoza replied, thinking about Larry Chase being a surprise spouse. Your husband. Baby, that yellow ink will soak my skeleton. Body reclined onto structure, exposing the lack of marital movements between Angie and her husband before he ever dies deep in the woods. Ah, to be a gardener. Iris let out an audible sigh of a wish to be one who plows her glorious field of fantasy. Precisely. Laughter flowed from Angela, enjoying this tart banter with a man of many tattoos. Okay, let me get everything together and we can proceed in a few minutes. Turning back to his customer, Iris placed ink and all the instruments onto a small cart. Descending onto a metal rolling stool, he began to pull himself towards the chair across the room. Turning back around, both were receiving surprises. For Iris Mendoza, It was the unexpected sight of a woman in crotchless pink panties. Angela Chase, on the other hand, felt a cool breeze blow against her exposed diamond. Adrenaline overtook any fears that she'd had in coming to a tattoo parlor. Ironically, it was that rush of emotion that caused Angela to momentarily forget she was still in the garment that Nick had given her. Oh, slightly taken back at the sight of her pussy open for any man to gaze at, Iris Mendoza became a study in contradictions. Turned on by this tempting tulip in his midst, he did everything but bite a wagging tongue. The lights in here sometimes reveal so much. I didn't realize how cool it was in here. Submerged in embarrassment over the lack of cloth against her pubic region, Angie began to sit upward and make a suggestion of recaptured modesty. Maybe I should come back at another time. Angela, don't. Iris reassured this female that his eyes were pleased at a heavenly vision before him. This vista is quite soothing. That's soothing? Resting body against chair, Angela couldn't resist a few words of disbelief at this statement of a man's comfort at looking at her unfurled femininity. To me it is. A large grin on Iris's face slowly turned into a downward frown as he revisited moments of misery at prior paintings of burly buyers of his trade. Better than getting a gander at a hairy dick and balls. Shaking that image loose from memory, Mendoza glimpsed at the gem in that chair. Something so beautiful shouldn't be hidden. Well, the way that I'm propped up here, peach heels and steel stirrups, left Angie in a position of vulnerability. It's on display. Angela, sometimes this job can be shitty as hell. Reflecting on previous planned requests of artwork, Iris knew what Angela was about to partake of would be a lemon of another color. I can assure you, this definitely ain't one of those times. Unlike the physical predicament of laying on a gynecologist's table for intensive inspection, this event remained quite pleasant for Angela. Starting to grin at the man beneath her. Really? I'm glad I took up the needle all those years ago. Looking up at Angela from that stool, Iris laughed. You give a man the kind of high that even the most potent narcotic can't even match, luscious one. I hope you're as smooth with that needle as you are with that tongue, Iris. Angela Chase accepted this adulation from Iris Mendoza. A few well-directed darts in and out will show you just how capable I am, Angela. Placing latex gloves on, Mendoza grasped instrument and nodded to her. Lay back and relax. Angela Chase looked upward and waited for the event to take flight. Lying there silently, the only audible effect was a whirring of a needle. Soft flesh tapped with steel caused her clit to vibrate with every touch from his hand. Iris Mendoza became aroused, wishing the view of this orgasmically inclined opal not move from that fixed location of a reclining chair. Yellow droplets filled that outline he'd drawn on that right thigh. Between Angela's constant vibration of an oncoming orgasm and Iris's coiled concrete beneath denim, Both shared something incredible. I'm almost done, Angela. Mendoza's concentration was split in two as Needle nicked his skin and brown eyes watered in blissful refrain. That's very good, Iris. Breathing heavily as Angela began to gingerly rock to every plunging of Iris's skillful tool. Wiping excess ink from thigh with a white cloth, Iris said two words, which Angela concurred with. I'm done. Warmly smiling downward at this artist, she took a cleansing sigh. So am I. Rolling stool away from that chair, he stood up and began placing items onto that cart. Mendoza walked over to a horizontal honey. You take like that, like a duck to water. Each was in an intimate trance of temptation in the back of the cat's paw tattoo parlor. Quack, quack. I'll say. Looking down at Angie, he picked up a mirror from a nearby counter. Take a peek for yourself, Angela. Left hand outstretched with mirror in it, Chase could see that emblem of confection on her right thigh, and whispered, It sure is tiny, isn't it, Iris? Sometimes smaller is far more effective. Speaking as a male with more than a few dots of ink on his flesh, this aficionado knew a powerful image on the human canvas didn't have to resemble a ceiling masterpiece by Michelangelo. Excerpt ended. You've just heard Angela Carter Chase and Iris Mendoza, two characters from my breakthrough novel, Over My Head. If you think Angela Chase enjoys bad boys, well, you'll see. Pick up my novel, just 99 cents, at Barnes & Noble, iTunes, Amazon, Smashwords. Oh, and by the way, Angela loves to go over her head. I mean, Scott, go over my head.